They threw him out with nothing but a backpack. No money, no car, no place to sleep. His own family told him he would never amount to anything. But 10 years later, when they discovered he was worth millions, they showed up at his doorstep with tears in their eyes. What happened next shocked everyone. Michael was only 17 when his life changed forever. Growing up, he always felt like an outsider in his own home. His father adored his older brother, David. His mother constantly praised David's achievements. Whenever Michael tried his best, it was never enough. If David scored 80%, his parents celebrated. If Michael scored 95%, they asked why it wasn't 100%. For years, he endured the favoritism, but he never imagined it would eventually cost him his family. One evening, Michael returned home from school and overheard his parents talking in the living room. His father spoke first. "Everything we own will go to David one day. He's the one who deserves it." Michael froze. His mother agreed. "Michael is too soft. He'll never survive in the real world." Those words pierced his heart. For years, he had worked harder than anyone to earn their approval. Yet they had already decided his future. Still, he kept quiet. He focused on school and worked part-time after classes. He believed that if he proved himself, things would eventually change. He was wrong. A year later, Michael received a scholarship offer from a prestigious university. It was the happiest day of his life. Excited, he rushed home to tell his family. Instead of congratulations, his father looked angry. "A scholarship won't pay for everything." Michael explained that he planned to work while studying. His father slammed his hand on the table. "You think you're smarter than everyone else." The argument escalated. Years of frustration finally exploded. For the first time, Michael confronted them about the favoritism. His father stood up and pointed toward the door. "If you don't like how things are in this house, leave." Michael thought it was an empty threat. Then his father said the words that would change everything. "From today, you're no longer my son." Silence filled the room. His mother didn't defend him. His brother didn't say a word. No one stopped him. No one begged him to stay. With tears in his eyes, Michael packed a backpack and walked out. At 18 years old, he was homeless. The next few months were brutal. He slept on friends' couches, sometimes in shelters, sometimes in places he would rather forget. There were nights when he went to bed hungry, days when he questioned whether his family had been right about him. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe he really would fail. But every time he wanted to quit, he remembered the look on his father's face, the certainty that he would never succeed. And that became his fuel. Michael worked every job he could find. He delivered food, cleaned offices, worked overnight shifts, studied during breaks. While others slept, he learned new skills: business, marketing, technology. Years passed. Slowly, his life began to improve. Then one opportunity changed everything. A small software company hired him for an entry-level position. Most people would have seen it as an ordinary job. Michael saw it as his chance. He worked harder than anyone else. Within 3 years, he was promoted multiple times. Within 5 years, he had launched his own business. What started as a small company quickly grew into a national success. Investors came calling. Major companies wanted partnerships. Revenue skyrocketed. For the first time in his life, Michael wasn't just surviving. He was thriving. By age 28, he was a millionaire. By 32, he was worth more money than anyone in his family had ever imagined. But while Michael was building his empire, something else was happening. Back home, his family's world was collapsing. David, the golden child, had inherited most of the family business. Unfortunately, he lacked discipline. He made reckless decisions, ignored expert advice, spent money carelessly. Within a few years, the business was drowning in debt. His parents watched helplessly as everything they had built disappeared. The house was sold. Savings vanished. Creditors kept calling. The family who once looked down on Michael was now struggling to survive. Then they saw an article online, a feature about a successful entrepreneur. The headline read, "Self-made millionaire Michael Anderson expands business nationwide." The son they had disowned had become everything they said he never could. One rainy afternoon, Michael's assistant informed him that visitors had arrived. When he looked at the security camera, he couldn't believe his eyes. His parents and David, standing outside. After more than 10 years, they wanted to see him. Part of him wanted to refuse. Part of him wanted answers, so he agreed. As they entered his office, nobody spoke. His father looked older. His mother looked exhausted. For the first time in his life, Michael saw uncertainty in their eyes. Then his father finally spoke. "We need your help." For a moment, Michael remembered every painful memory, every insult, every rejection, every night spent wondering why he wasn't good enough. His family waited, certain that his wealth meant they would be rescued. Then Michael calmly replied, "You didn't come because you missed me. You came because you need something." No one could deny it. The truth hung in the air. His father lowered his head. For the first time in decades, he apologized. Not for losing money, not for needing help, but for failing as a father. Tears filled his mother's eyes. David remained silent. The room was heavy with regret. Michael sat quietly for several moments. He had dreamed about this day many times. He had imagined confronting them. He had imagined walking away. He had imagined making them feel the same pain they once made him feel. But now that the moment had arrived, something unexpected happened. He felt nothing. No anger, no hatred, no desire for revenge. The years had changed him. Success had changed him. He no longer needed their approval. He no longer needed to prove anything. He had already won the battle the day he stopped believing the lies they told him about himself. His father looked up. "Can you ever forgive us?" Michael stared out the window. The rain continued to fall. Then he turned back and spoke. "Forgiveness doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't erase the years I spent struggling alone. It doesn't erase the nights I went hungry. It doesn't erase being abandoned by the people who were supposed to protect me." His father nodded. "I know. But carrying that pain forever won't help me either." The room fell silent again. Michael eventually agreed to help them. Not because they deserved it, not because they were family, but because he refused to become bitter. He helped them find a place to live. He paid off some of their most urgent debts. He made sure they had food and medical care. But he made one thing clear. Trust would have to be earned. Months turned into years. Slowly, the relationship began to heal. Not perfectly. Some wounds never completely disappear. But they learned something they should have understood long ago. The child they rejected had become the strongest member of the family. The son they abandoned had become the one who saved them. And Michael learned something too. The greatest success wasn't becoming wealthy. It wasn't building a business. It wasn't proving everyone wrong. The greatest success was becoming the person he needed when nobody else was there for him. The boy who walked away with nothing but a backpack had built a life beyond anyone's expectations. And in the end, that was worth more than all the money in the world.